Tony Randall was born on February 26, 1920, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a man whose energy on screen felt like it could barely sit still. And that restless charm found its perfect home in The Odd Couple, where he became Felix Unger, the need-obsessed, nervous perfectionist who turned everyday life into comedy gold. Especially in that unforgettable moment when he snaps, "Never assume." Because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me, a line that still lives on decades later. Before that, he had already made his mark in films like Pillow Talk and Lover Come Back, building a reputation for sharp timing and lovable frustration. But it was Felix that made him a household name and earned him an Emmy in 1975. Even as years passed, he kept working through television, stage, and his own National Actors Theater, refusing to slow down until his final days. When after heart surgery in late 2003, his health quietly declined, and on May 17, 2004, at the age of 84, Tony Randall passed away in his sleep in New York. Jack Klugman was born on April 27, 1922, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and became one of television's most authentic everyman actors. In The Odd Couple, he played Oscar Madison, the messy, cigar-smoking sports writer whose carefree chaos perfectly clashed with Felix Unger's neat obsession. His natural humor, sharp timing, and real-life chemistry with Tony Randall made Oscar unforgettable, earning him 2 Emmy Awards. He later took on a completely different role in Quincy, M.E., playing a determined medical examiner who fought for truth and justice, proving his powerful range beyond comedy. Even after losing his voice to cancer and relearning how to speak, Klugman continued acting with incredible resilience. Jack Klugman passed away on December 24, 2012, at the age of 90, but for fans, Oscar Madison's sloppy charm and unforgettable one-liners still live on. Al Molinaro was born on June 24, 1919, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, and became one of television's most lovable character actors, even though he found success later in life. He first gained attention as Murray the cop in The Odd Couple, a friendly, slightly clueless police officer who joined Oscar and Felix's poker nights, often delivering simple but funny reactions that made scenes even better. But his most iconic role came in Happy Days, where he played Al Del Vecchio, the soft-hearted owner of Arnold's Drive-In, famous for his nervous charm and his unforgettable catchphrase, "Yep, yep, yep, yep," which became a fan favorite. After years of bringing warmth to television, he retired in the 1990s, and on October 30, 2015, Al Molinaro passed away in Glendale, California, at the age of 96 due to complications from gallstones, leaving behind characters that still feel comforting and familiar to this day. Penny Marshall was born on October 15, 1943, in the Bronx, New York, and became a familiar face to TV audiences with her role on The Odd Couple as Myrna Turner, Oscar Madison's sharp and no-nonsense secretary, but it was on Laverne and Shirley that she truly became unforgettable as Laverne DeFazio, the tough-talking, fun-loving factory worker whose signature L sweater and the iconic Schlemazel opening made her a part of television history. Her natural humor and effortless delivery turned Laverne into one of the most beloved sitcom characters of all time. Marshall later found even greater success behind the camera, directing hits like Big and A League of Their Own, proving her talent went far beyond acting. Sadly, on December 17, 2018, she passed away at her home in Hollywood Hills at the age of 75 due to complications from diabetes. But for fans, Laverne DeFazio's charm, attitude, and unforgettable energy still live on. Brett Summers was born Audrey Dawn Johnston on July 11, 1924, in Miramichi, New Brunswick, Canada, and became a household name with her razor-sharp wit and unmistakable husky voice. She gained iconic status on the 1970s game show Match Game, where she sat in the center panel, trading hilarious barbs with Charles Nelson Riley, ripping up answer cards, and delivering unforgettable quips like, "Who needs you? I'm an heiress." But many remember her most for her recurring role as Blanche Madison on The Odd Couple, playing the cynical yet endearing ex-wife of Oscar Madison, played by her real-life husband, Jack Klugman, where her sarcastic comebacks and fiery exchanges turned every scene into a comedy highlight. Beyond TV, she was a talented stage performer and a member of the Actors Studio, appearing on Broadway and in cabaret until the early 2000s. Sadly, on September 15, 2007, she passed away peacefully at her home in Westport, Connecticut, at the age of 83 from stomach and colon cancer. Elan Donahue was born on April 19, 1937, in Tacoma, Washington, and from the very beginning, she was destined for the spotlight, performing as a toddler in vaudeville and on radio before signing with Universal Pictures at age 5. She captured hearts nationwide as Betty Princess Anderson on the beloved 1950s sitcom Father Knows Best, the eldest daughter navigating family life with charm and grace. Her warmth carried over to the Andy Griffith Show as Ellie Walker, Sheriff Andy Taylor's first love, and later to The Odd Couple as Miriam Welby, Felix Unger's caring girlfriend in 17 episodes. Beyond television, she shined in films like Pretty Woman as Bridget, The Kind Beverly Hills store manager, and made memorable guest appearances on Star Trek, the original series, The Flying Nun, Friends, and Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. As of 2026, at 88, she enjoys a peaceful life in Rancho Mirage, California, reflecting on a career that made her one of television's most enduring icons of warmth, charm, and grace. Larry Gelman, born November 3, 1930 in Brooklyn, New York, was a beloved American character actor best known for his role as Vinny, the poker-playing buddy on the classic sitcom The Odd Couple, and as Dr. Bernie Tupperman on The Bob Newhart Show. With a career spanning over 4 decades and more than 100 credits, Larry became a familiar face on 1970s television, guest starring on shows like Barney Miller, Maude, and 8 is Enough. Tragically, on June 7, 2021, at the age of 90, Larry passed away in Los Angeles from complications following a fall. Carol Shelley, born on August 16, 1939 in London, was a celebrated English actress whose talent lit up Broadway, film, and television. She is best remembered as Gwendolyn Pigeon in The Odd Couple, a role she carried from the 1965 stage to the 1968 film and the 1970 TV series, becoming one of the rare actors to play the same character across all 3. She shined beyond comedy, winning the Tony Award for Mrs. Kendall in The Elephant Man, 1979, and later originating Madame Morrible in Broadway's Wicked, 2003. Her unmistakable voice also brought Disney classics to life, including Amelia Gabble in The Aristocats and Lady Cluck in Robin Hood. After decades of captivating audiences with her charm, wit, and versatility, she passed away from cancer on August 31, 2018 in Manhattan, just 15 days after turning 79. Monica Evans, born June 7, 1940 in Camberwell, England, is a retired actress and comedian best remembered for her iconic role as Cecily Pigeon in Neil Simon's The Odd Couple. She's unique for playing Cecily across all 3 major versions: the original Broadway play, the 1968 film with Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau, and the 1970 TV series alongside Carol Shelley as her sister Gwendolyn. Monica also brought her voice to Disney classics, voicing Abigail Gabble in The Aristocats and Maid Marian in Robin Hood, marking her final film role before retiring in the early 1970s. Trained at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, she combined stage professionalism with screen charm, becoming one half of the beloved Pigeon Sisters duo. After marrying BBC Radio 1 DJ Dave Cash in 1973, she stepped away from acting but remained a cherished figure in classic film and Disney circles. Even today, she is celebrated as one of the last surviving adult cast members of The Aristocats and Robin Hood, leaving behind an enduring legacy of comedic brilliance and timeless voices. Howard Kosell, born March 25, 1918 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, became one of the most influential and controversial voices in sports history. He rose to fame as the bold, unmistakable commentator on Monday Night Football, where his sharp, tell-it-like-it-is style transformed sports broadcasting into real journalism. Beyond football, Kosell was the defining voice of boxing on Wide World of Sports, closely covering the career of Muhammad Ali and delivering the legendary call, "Down Goes Frazier," during the 1973 heavyweight fight. He even crossed into pop culture with appearances as himself on The Odd Couple and films like Bananas. In 1980, he made history by breaking the news of John Lennon's death during a live football broadcast, showing the power of his platform beyond sports. He passed away on April 23, 1995, at age 77, leaving behind a legacy as the voice that changed sports forever. Betty White was born on January 17, 1922, in Oak Park, Illinois, and became one of television's most beloved and long-lasting stars, with a career that spanned over 7 decades. She rose to major fame as the sweet but hilariously naive Rose Nyland on The Golden Girls, a role that made her a household name thanks to her innocent stories and perfect comedic timing. Before that, she impressed audiences as the sharp and secretly mischievous Sue Ann Nivens on The Mary Tyler Moore Show, showing her incredible range in comedy. She later won a whole new generation of fans as the sassy Elka Ostrovsky on Hot in Cleveland, proving her humor never faded with age. She even made a memorable appearance as herself on The Odd Couple, bringing her real-life charm to the screen. Known as the First Lady of Television, Betty White stayed active and loved by fans until the very end. On December 31, 2021, she passed away peacefully at her home in Los Angeles at the age of 99 after a stroke, leaving behind a legacy of laughter, warmth, and timeless comedy that still lives on today. Wolfman Jack, the legendary American disc jockey, was born on January 21, 1938, in Brooklyn, New York, and became one of the most unforgettable voices in radio history. He reached massive fame through his appearance as himself in American Graffiti, where his mysterious radio voice guided the story and became a symbol of rock and roll culture, and he later brought that same larger-than-life personality to television as the host of the Midnight Special, introducing audiences to some of the biggest music acts of the time. He also made a memorable guest appearance as himself on The Odd Couple, where his energetic radio style added a fun twist as Oscar tried to win over younger voters. For decades, his voice echoed across America through powerful radio broadcasts, making him a true icon of the airwaves. But on July 1, 1995, at just 57 years old, Wolfman Jack suddenly passed away at his home in North Carolina after a heart attack, reportedly collapsing shortly after returning home and embracing his wife, leaving behind a voice that still feels alive every time it's heard. Dick Clark was born on November 30, 1929, in Mount Vernon, New York, and became one of the most powerful figures in television and music history, earning the nickname America's oldest teenager for the way he connected generations through entertainment. He rose to fame as the longtime host of American Bandstand, where he introduced rock and roll to millions of homes, turning young artists into stars and making music part of everyday life, and later created a global tradition with Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, where his countdown became the way millions welcomed a new year. He also hosted the hit game show The $100,000 Pyramid and built an entertainment empire behind the scenes, shaping television for decades. But on April 18, 2012, at the age of 82, Dick Clark passed away in Santa Monica, California, after a massive heart attack following a medical procedure, leaving behind a legacy that still defines how the world celebrates music and moments together. Gary Wahberg was born on June 10, 1921, in Buffalo, New York, and became a beloved character actor whose face was instantly recognizable on television. He is best remembered as Homer Speed Deegan, one of Oscar Madison's loyal poker buddies on The Odd Couple from 1970 to 1975, reprising the role in the 1993 TV movie. He also gained fame as LAPD Homicide Lieutenant Frank Monahan on Quincy, ME, appearing in over 125 episodes alongside his close friend Jack Klugman, often playing the skeptical foil to Quincy's investigations. Wahberg appeared in classic shows like Star Trek, The Twilight Zone, Peyton Place, and films including King Kong and They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, making him a staple of 1960s-80s TV. He passed away on March 27, 2012 at 90 in Northridge, California, from chronic pulmonary disease and heart failure, leaving behind a legacy as one of television's most reliable and unforgettable character actors.